So you might be wondering, does jQuery provide any means for iterating over arrays? Well, yes, actually, jQuery does have an each method. Okay, so let's take a look at how the each method works. So let's create a variable called numbers, and we'll set it equal to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay, so here we just have an array full of numbers, and we're going to use the dollar symbol to call upon the jQuery object, and we're going to apply the jQuery each method here, which is a utility method built into jQuery. So we'll say $.each, and then in parentheses we're passing in this case, 2 arguments, and the first one here is the array or the object for which we wish to loop over. In this case, it's the array numbers. So here we're going to say $.each and give it the argument of numbers. So now jQuery knows that we're actually looping over each element in the numbers array. Okay, and then comma, the second argument, is the function that we want to run whenever we are looping over each element. So this is the executable code that will run here as a function, and it'll run one time. This function is going to run one time for each element in this array we have selected here, numbers. Okay, so in this case, it's going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Now, one of the things the each method does is it's automatically going to pass into this function for us 2 values. Okay, and the first one is the index number, which we're calling I here. And you can really name these parameters anything you want, but it is a convention to call the index number I. Okay, so here the first argument that each method is passing into this function, automatically for us behind the scenes, it's going to pass into this argument here, the index number. So the first time this loop runs, I will be equal to 0. The second time the each loop runs, I will be equal to 1. And the third time I will be equal to 2, which will be here the index position for 15, and so on. And then the second argument that's automatically passed in via the each method into the argument here for this function is the value of that index position. So again, the first time this runs, I here will be equal to 0, and the value will be equal to 5, which is the value that that element is holding. The second time the each loop runs, the I parameter here, or argument in other words, will be equal to 1, the index number of 1, and the value will be equal to the value of 10 for that second element. So here we're saying console.log, and we're saying I plus, and we're adding a simple space. This is just a string with a keyboard space in between it. And then we're saying plus, and we are adding on the value of the end. So the first time this is going to print 0 space 5. The second time it will print 1 space 10. The third time it will print 2 space 15. So you're getting the index number, which is the position in the array, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the value is the actual value of the element 5, 10, 15, 20. So one nice thing about the each method is that it automatically calculates the length of the array for us, and it's automatically incrementing the count position for us, so there's no need to create an I variable or call upon the length method to check the length of the array. So that's all hidden behind the scenes. So again, you're more than welcome to use the core JavaScript methods like the for loop, the do while loop, or the while loop, but also keep in mind that in jQuery we have the each loop as well. Now speed-wise, it's actually more efficient to use the core JavaScript loops than to use the each method. So although the each method is quite convenient and in a sense is arguably more readable than the JavaScript core loops, it does slow down your program a tiny bit. So that is worth noting.